Eighth grade humanities teacher at Cedar Park Middle School, and my pronouns are she, her, we, and us. I'm going to say something that...
Wow. So we did get her pronouns, she, her, but also we and us.
That's like extra woke points if you have 4 pronouns that you
For
can
real.
refer to.
How many pronouns can you have?
Yeah.
What's the limit? How many can I fit in my Instagram bio before they say I can't have anymore?
She's the final boss of pronouns.
We and us.
Ours and theirs.
How do you even use the words we and us to refer to somebody? I'm hanging out with we today?
It's like Gollum and Smeagol. You wouldn't understand that.
I wouldn't
it's
understand.
like Gollum is
I love how you just like looked at her like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Oh, you know, Gollum and Smeagol. In The Lord of the Rings, he's the guy who wants the ring and he's desperate for it.
He
split
speaks in the
personalities.
plural, yeah. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
ours. You know.
Oh
Like,
my
Amala's
goodness.
just like, what is going on?
I am like, what is going on?
Sorry, we go down a Lord of the Rings rabbit hole again. Okay.
Every time. But that's what it's like. I don't know how you can be us. That doesn't make any sense.
I
I mean,
don't
some
know.
people use like the royal we, you know, like, you know, they're saying I, but they say we, but that's not what they're doing.
It's
You know,
like
this is
a-
just to show you're woke.
Yeah,
I
this
don't
is not smart.
It's not nice and not sweet, but it's true. If you're not evolving into an anti-racist educator, you're making yourself obsolete in this field of profession. Our district is only getting browner and browner with our children. And so if, you know, obviously you can't change your melanin, all right, but you can change your mind so that you can actually function in a district that is full of BIPOC children.
Pause.
A lot of
It looks
buzzwords.
like I'm
It
on
looks
the.
like
It looks
Will
like
is
I'm on there. Yeah, and I'm just in here like asleep watching this stupid thing.
There are so many concerning things about what we just watched. So many concerning things. First of all, you should not have to focus on being anti-racist as an educator. You should have to focus on being an educator, on making sure that when kids come into your classroom every single day, they leave having learned something valuable that goes towards the success of their lives. You should not be worried about the color of the kids walking through your classroom. And she says, you know what? We should be getting even more concerned because every year we are getting more and more people of color within our school.
Well, she said browning.
Yes.
She said we're getting browner and browner, which
getting
sounds a
browner
lot
and browner.
worse.
It does sound a lot worse.
It sounds more racist, like saying we're getting browner and browner.
But why? Like, who cares what color the kids that are coming through your front door are? It does not matter. You should be focused on teaching them what 2 plus 2 is 4. You shouldn't be focused on, well, let me make sure that little Timmy, white boy Timmy, knows that he has more privilege than white boy Jimmy. It's like, I don't understand.
I thought you were gonna use like a different kid.
I was going to say, like, let me make sure white boy Timmy knows more than Jamal.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was
No.
expecting.
No.
All right, let's keep going.
So if you're being resistant, I understand that, but you're going to have to eventually come to the light because if you're going to keep with those old views of colonialism.
Shut up.
Gosh.
Shut your mouth.
Right.
The sanctimoniousness and all this teachers' faces, they're just sitting there like taking it like, oh, yeah,
They're
even nodding
nodding.
along.
They're nodding along to this ridiculous garbage and the condescension that she comes at them with. Well, you need to come to the light. You need to realize this sort of cultish juxtaposition of being pro CRT. It just goes to show how ridiculous our public schooling systems are getting.
How did things get so bad? 10 years ago, I mean, I don't think teachers were really talking about like getting rid of your colonialism. All of us went through school and never thought about colonialism whatsoever. And our teachers, I mean, you know, my teachers just led normal lives and there was tons of different, like I went to a pretty black and Mexican school when I was growing up and like no one cared about that. No one cared about any of that. My teachers didn't care about that. They're like, let's just teach you what's going on in the world. No one said anything about it. Now it's like, you can't teach colonialism in school? What are you talking about?
That's what progress looks and feels like, is when people don't care, when they treat each other as individual human beings.
Right.
And push this race essentialism where the most important thing about you is the color of your skin. That's the racist. That's erasing the actual progress that we've made.
It's regressive. We are going backwards in time. We are going to collapse like ancient Rome for spreading ourselves too thin and getting way too woke.
It's so true. And we talk about it on this program and it's like, it's like beating a dead horse, honestly, at this point, but we have really gotten ourselves out of the hole of systemic racism in this country. And that's where we were. Now we have this neo-racist, neo-segregationist ideology that is coming up in our schools. And it's what this teacher is talking about right here. Imagine right now, if you are a parent or an educator who does not believe in this sort of ideology, this is what is happening behind the closed doors of your school. This is what your kids are being exposed to. You have 5-year-old kids coming into school each day and there's Black Lives Matter flags and pride flags within their classroom. They're probably getting labeled with their ethnicity as they sit down for the first day, being asked to choose their pronouns before they speak to the class. It is absolutely ridiculous. And we are going to raise a society of weak-minded females and weak-minded males who are just victims to this sort of ideology and this sort of practice.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either, clearly.
It's going to lead to being fired because you're going to be doing damage to our children, trauma. And so as we fire the teachers who sexually abuse our children, we will be firing the teachers who do racist things to our children.
Are you kidding me?
You already fire racist teachers. If a white teacher went and called a black kid the N-word, like he's going to get fired. This has nothing to do with real racism. It's fake racism and fake outrage.
And the fact that she just compared that to sexual abuse, you know, having pro-American ideology, having what Martin Luther King doctrine was, not judging people based on their skin color, judging them based on the content of their character. That is what he stood for. And now she's saying that you deserve to be fired, and she's making it tantamount to sexual abuse.
You teach them Michael Brown didn't actually have his hands up, so didn't actually say hands up, don't shoot. It's like you sexually abused a kid.
Right.
What a ridiculous statement. That's how woke we're getting. That is how terrible and disgusting this is. I mean, and then you compare it to that. It's like you are then taking the sexual abuse that happens in some schools, really does happen, and you are muddling it and saying, oh, no, it's the same as not teaching the leftist dogma and agenda.
Right.
How disgusting.
Exactly. She's calling conservative ideology traumatic. What is really traumatic to a kid is having a little black boy come into your classroom and you teach him, hey, by virtue of being born with your skin color, you're going to have to try a little bit harder than life. And your classmates over here that don't have your skin color, don't have your melanin, they're going to have a little easier than you. So let me go ahead and put these hoops up in front of you for you to jump through that your other classmates don't have to, because life is harder for you. What sort of mentality do you build for that child if that's where you start their education?
Still don't like it.
Traumatize them. And while our district might not be completely on there, OEA is working on it. All right. NEA is working on it. And so it's just a matter of time. So it's like you either evolve or dissolve. You've got to start walking with us.
I feel so bad for this translator.
Right.
It's like, he's like, I haven't heard these woke things before. How do I even do this with my hands? He doesn't know how to say like all these stupid things in sign language.
If you don't evolve, you dissolve.
Just the whole attitude of this thing where it's like, you must think the way that I do about all of this, or else I'm shaming you and you're wrong and you need to be fired, whatever. It's like, that is a telltale sign that you're in a cult.
Right.
Or this is like a weird religious thing. Like, free thinking people don't try to shame other people into thinking exactly how they do or having all the same opinions as them, or try to like have some weird power dynamic where they're trying to control your thoughts. Like, free thinking people who believe in freedom, that's what we're about at PragerU. Like, people will call us a cult. It's like, no, what we're watching right now, that's what a cult looks like and sounds like.
Yep.
Someone who's indoctrinated with this type of thinking and trying to impose it on everyone else. Say, stop thinking your own way. I'm going to shame you. I'm going to use my whatever power I have to make you comply with how I think and accept my rules and accept my worldview. And if you don't, you're out and you're shameful. And that's who's trying to take over our entire culture.
If you don't.
I was like talking about it, like thinking about left-wing events versus conservative events. Like, if anyone in the comments, again, another little game we can play in the comments, name a couple events that were shut down by conservatives. Name a left-wing event on a college campus that was shut down by conservatives coming and acting violent and shutting down the event. No. You will be hard-pressed to find any examples. And I've looked. I actually went and researched trying to find it for my book when I was writing it. And you cannot find it. It's not out there. But think about the amount of events that were shut down by leftists. They are a cult. This leftist stuff shutting down different ideas. If there was a conservative school and then the conservative, they were teaching all this stuff and there was a kid who came in who learned leftist stuff from his children, they would instead try to educate that child instead of trying to destroy that child or trying to fire the teacher for having a different conversation with this person. I mean, conservatives are the party of open-mindedness. We are the ones who believe in free thought, freedom of expression, the First Amendment. The left do not believe in that whatsoever. And it's clear. It's obvious.
It really is. And I bet you could sit down with this woman and I can guarantee that she would tell you that she's anti-fascism, she's anti-totalitarianism, she's anti-authoritarianism, but that is exactly the sort of stuff that she is trying to implement within the school that she's working in.